Hi, my name is David Nguah, and that is spelled N-G-U-A-H. I was born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya, in a suburb called Dagoretti Corner, and it is nowhere close to where Obama's father is from. If I took you back to where I came from, or where I've come from, to where I am today, most people watching this would never believe our paths would ever cross. Having come from where I did, moving here and pursuing my dream was such a far-fetched dream when you see where I've come from, to coming over here has also led me to believe that I can do anything. And being able to get a show, I think it inspires people from all over the world. People who are in neighborhoods that are ignored, people who don't feel glamorous enough, people who are not famous or known. It helps them show that if you follow your heart and have the conviction to follow your dreams, that anything is possible, that all you have to do is follow your heart. I love people's stories. A lot of people have. If you sit down and talk to a person that you just met, everybody has a story to tell, because everybody's life, hence to the point that when you get to meet them, they've had an entire life, an entire story. So everybody has something to tell, and everybody's always eager to tell something. I'll tell you how this started. During the recession, I remember I had one deal. I had like one deal that I was hanging on, and I think the deal died. That day the deal was dead. I got home, it was like a Friday night. I was really depressed because I was counting on this deal, and all of a sudden I had no money and had my bills coming up. And I DVR Oprah, and that day there was an interview for Your Own Show. So it's something I've always wanted to do, but didn't have the structure or know how you even get started to do this. So I said, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna enter the show. And I called somebody and we put a tape together, and I entered the Your Own Show competition, which about 1,000 people, more than 1,000 people entered. I didn't realize how much I liked it, and also I got over 2 million votes. So I was like number 12 out of about 1,000 people. But they picked the first 10, so it's close, but not close enough. But now I know one thing is, what it taught me is that if I want to achieve anything, if I want to do something, I can do it. The one thing I have done is followed my dream. And I think showing people out there that you as a regular person, an everyday person, can follow your heart and follow your dream speaks volumes.
Hi, I'm David. We're going to meet some incredible people from around the country who have personal stories that will empower you, inspire you, and possibly even help some of you watching. These are people who have experienced and seen some of the most challenging conditions and circumstances, and yet they have selflessly dedicated and sometimes even risked their lives helping others. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and we're proud to share their stories with you today on David. Before you meet our first guest, Somi Ali, let me tell you a little bit about her story.
Somi Ali spent her early years in Pakistan bearing witness to horrific physical and mental abuse of her loved ones. And at the tender age of 9, she fled with her mother and younger brother to the United States. At the age of 15, to pursue a crush on a Bollywood actor, she moved to India, where she became a highly successful Bollywood actress and model before settling in the United States to attend college. Today, just 10 years later, she is the founder of the nonprofit No More Tears, which assists survivors of domestic violence. Somi has primarily funded No More Tears and contributed more than $200,000 of her own money to the Florida-based organization, and she works personally with each survivor it assists.
Please welcome Somi Ali to the show. Hi.
Thank you so much for
Coming.
Thank you for
Have a seat.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Somi, you have an incredible story, and I'd love to know more about it. And I'd love to go back to the beginning and start. What made you flee Pakistan at such a young age of 9?
I grew up in a Muslim household, and unfortunately, I witnessed a great deal of domestic violence
Right.
growing up. And things were excelling quite rapidly, and they were getting quite bad. And the last incident of abuse that took place, I was 9 years old, and I decided that I needed to get out with my mother and my younger brother. So we fled to America to escape abuse.
And were you the one that initiated the whole idea of moving to the U.S.?
Yes, I called my uncle who was residing in Miami at the time, and I told him that if he can come and tell my father that he wants to take us to Disney World and do a pretend vacation so we can get out. And he did, and that's when we escaped when I was 9 and my brother was 4. And this was, yeah, it was good to get
Wow.
out of that.
And everybody was on board right from the minute that you decided to do this?
It was tough convincing my father. He said that he's going to take us to Disney World, which I'm yet to see Disney World, but at least we were able to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
And how at the age of 15 then do you end up back in Bollywood with a crush on a Bollywood actor?
I was a teenager, which gives me a license to be silly. So I was obsessed with Bollywood movies, and I watched a movie, and I fell in love with this actor. And I thought in order for me to meet him, I have to go to India and join films. So I did just that at 15. I left and started modeling first, and then got into movies. And my first film was with him, actually. So I did get to meet him.
Oh, wow.
And the fairy tale ended, initiated quite well, but then ended rather badly because a few months before the wedding, he cheated on me. So in 2000, when I was 24, I ended the relationship and moved back to America and started pursuing my education.
While in Florida, when did you get to open up your No More Tears organization?
It was during that time that I had a woman from Bangladesh that came to my door, and she was bleeding profusely from her forehead, and she lived in my community, and she said that her husband had beat her and her father-in-law had raped her. And No More Tears was not in existence at the time. So I had her come in my house. I called 911, and we filed a report. I helped her go through school, get her a divorce, get her an apartment, and I used my savings for that. And then my brother, whom I'm very close to, he said, well, you were thinking of doing a charity. This is perhaps a sign that this is what you should do.
Okay.
And then having grown up in domestic violence, I thought it was very fitting and very apropos to do something with domestic violence victims. So in 2007, we initiated No More Tears. I registered it, and I started working with immigrant women that are brought to the U.S. and then they're abused.
So at the time, were you just specializing in immigrant women only, or?
Initially, when I started No More Tears, I thought that abuse was specific just to the Muslim culture. I wasn't very knowledgeable of it, of course, because once again, having grown up in it, I thought it was very specific to my culture. But domestic violence has no prejudices at all. It affects everyone. If that's one thing I've learned doing No More Tears, it affects everyone. There's abuse in every culture, every race, every ethnicity. It doesn't matter where you are, where you come from.
And how many victims have you helped thus far?
Let's see, the first victim was in 2008, and yesterday I rescued 238th victim.
Wow.
And 518 children of sexual and physical abuse.
And are these children of most of the women that you're helping as the children for the women, the victims, basically?
Yes, because if you're abused as a
You have
woman
children as well.
and you have children, inevitably
Absolutely.
there's abuse at home for the children as well.
And what kind of help are you giving them other than just getting them out of their home?
It's a one-stop shop at No More Tears. So we basically are partners with all the police departments, and once we get a call, we pick them up from the crime scene. I take them to a hotel. We don't have a shelter as such. Shelters always put you on waiting lists, which baffles me because how do you put a woman who's being abused on a waiting list? So I wanted to have a different model for No More Tears. So we work with hotels. We have them in the hotel for 5 nights. No More Tears finds them an apartment. We pay the first 2 months' rent. We decorate the apartment, provide them with a computer. We teach them how to drive. We do every possible medical help there is, from OBGYN to optometrist to general physician. We teach them how to write checks. I teach them how to use the internet. Remember, this is somewhat equivalent to human trafficking because these women are brought from different countries.
Right.
They have no social support. They don't even know where they are geographically. So having, come from a different background, I speak their language literally and culturally and metaphorically as well, so I'm able to help them. And then we basically, in 2 months' time, after getting them into an apartment and paying their rent for 2 months, we transform the lives 180.
Now, what I don't understand also is you had a successful film and modeling career in Bollywood, which is what most little girls, 16-year-old girls, and even adults would love to have. How do you walk away from that?
But remember, the motivation was not to be in films. The motivation was to marry the actor.
But you had a successful career. You were doing well. You weren't like doing C movies. You were doing, good movies.
I was doing well.
Right. So you could have left him and continued with a great career because you're beautiful.
Thank
you're
you.
talented.
Thank you.
So you could have continued with a great career. What was it that made you go from giving that up to giving yourself to people who need so
Because it
much
was
help?
the epitome of superficiality, that lifestyle, and I wasn't content with it. I wanted to save lives and do something more meaningful. And I also came to the realization that this is going to go away and dissipate with time. And I wanted to do something more meaningful, not to undermine the film industry or the modeling industry, but it was a part of my life that was kind of done with.
Do you think this is your calling?
Oh,
in life?
absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. I can't see myself doing anything else.
What do you find is the common thread between most of your victims?
I think they're afraid to leave. And we work primarily with immigrant women, and they're under this notion that if they were to call the police, they're going to get deported, and they've given birth to children in the U.S., so they're terrified of losing their children.
Right.
However, they're unaware of a petition called the Violence Against Women's Act petition, which was ratified in 1994, which basically means if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're abused, you're eligible for a work permit and a green card. So I go to universities and schools and places of worship, and I educate women about this petition so they are able to speak out against the abusers.
Wow. So a lot of people, you've seen a whole immigration thing now where everybody's using it against them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you for
it's
having
an extreme honor to meet you. I've been dying to meet you and sit
you.
down and talk to you because you're the epitome of what good people do. Thank you. Counting calories, fat diets, diet pills, eating fat-free, we've all been there, right? But now we're more confused than ever before. Today, we're going to take a hardcore look at weight loss and show you how you can lose the weight, and we'll cut through all the confusion from nutrition labels to show you what you should eat to lose pounds and inches without the dreaded D word, diet. Today on David. I'd like to welcome Carmela and Gabby to the show. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, David.
Both Carmela and Gabby contacted me in desperation to lose weight and get some answers to stop their yo-yo dieting. Take a look at this.
Hi, David. My name is Gabby. I just got home from work, and as you can see, I had to pick something up on the way in. I've been trying to lose 10 pounds for my 30th birthday next year forever, and I don't know what to do. I've been a yo-yo dieter practically all my life. I've done low carbs, no carbs, Atkins, South Beach. I've done it all, you name it, I've done it. Now there's this new thing with these coffee beans. I mean, what is that? Who does that? With the economy the way it is, I have no time to cook. I don't know what to cook if I had to cook. I have 2 jobs. It's really hard. I've tried to eat healthy by buying these gluten-free cookies. Supposedly they help out to lose weight. Nothing. I've bought wheat bread because I've heard that white carbs are bad for you. Still nothing. I've bought almond milk because I've heard that dairy products are bad for you, they make you fat. I don't know which one to pick. Is it almond milk? Is it soy milk? Is it regular milk? Are dairies even bad for you? I really need help. I'm super frustrated, and this would really, really, really make my 30th birthday a lot better if I could lose these 10 pounds.
Hi David, my name is Carmela. I'm a working mom. I have a beautiful 9-month-old little girl. I gained about 65 pounds in my pregnancy, so I've had to put a lot of effort in trying to get the weight off, but I'm stuck and I can't lose this last 30 pounds. I've tried everything from uploading apps, counting calories. I run every day. I walk with the baby every chance I get. I'm still breastfeeding, so that should burn an extra 500 calories, I'm told, but I still just can't get the weight off. If you could please help, I'd really, really appreciate it. Please help me get back to my pre-pregnancy weight.
Okay, sounds like you guys are looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a special treat for you. I'd like to introduce the resident expert, Paul Christopher, a South Florida fitness professional and owner of Gravity and Oxygen. We call him PC around here. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
What do you see going on here?
Self-defeating cycle, I see a lot of barriers to success in both of them, but each of them for different reasons.
What would you suggest for them to do so they can get their weight under control?
Well, work seems to be an underlying theme with both of you, working a lot. I would say that we all understand we all have to work. There are
Right.
things we can do around work. So if you have a long commute, let's shorten the commute by maybe living closer to where we actually
Yeah,
work.
but Gabby has 2 jobs. I mean, sometimes when you have 2 jobs, it could be different parts of the city, and she's unable to get close to home.
I really analyzed her video, and seeing her video, I see the fast food bag. And I see her saying that she picked something up on the way home from work.
No,
Right.
you see, let me be frank with you.
Okay.
We understand that we have to eat healthy and we have to exercise. Okay, we got that. We still can't lose the weight. Help us.
Okay, well, let me take each of you as an individual case. So with Gabby, all right, I see the fast food bag, and you say you pick something up on the way from home. What that does is that's impulsive eating. And most times when we eat impulsively, we eat for pleasure as opposed to eating for function.
But how can that possibly be? I mean, what if I'm eating a salad? Salads are healthy. Not
Okay.
necessarily are they going to be bad.
True, but one healthy meal doesn't necessarily change everything. You guys both want short-term fixes, and the actual term diet is a short-term solution, when actually what we need is a lifetime nutritional plan. We eat for life. We eat every day, don't we? So a diet is actually a misnomer, a
I'm
misconception.
an attorney, and so I have a very demanding career, and I commute an hour each way to work every day. I don't have time to grocery shop. I don't have time to, I squeeze everything in. And I exercise, I eat healthy, but I just can't get this weight off. So
Okay.
tell me something outside of the box. Both of us, I believe, we've tried all these different diets. We have utilized all the resources that are out there, and we're hoping that you're going to do exactly what David promised, that
Well, I don't
you're going to
believe
give
you-
us that
I don't believe
magic
you utilized all the
formula.
resources. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. But I don't think you've run the gamut of what opportunities are available for you. Okay? Gabby, let me go back to you here. Okay? Well, you mentioned a long commute. Well, what I would do as a solution is think about living closer to your work. So if you're driving an hour each way, why don't you drive in half an hour each way?
Yeah,
and move
but
closer?
everybody can't just pick up and
Yeah,
go
it's
closer
difficult.
to their jobs. What if people work in neighborhoods that are expensive to live in and they can't afford that? They have to live in outer cities. I mean, what's the solution there?
Well, let me ask you this. How's your current situation working out for you?
It's working out perfectly fine. I like where I live. I like where I work. I know you want, to cut the commute, but I mean,
But that's-
everybody can't do that. I'm one person. There's other people out there that can't do what I can do. What I have an understanding to be of some type of diet is going to keep me in shape. But when it comes to working out, I mean, where am I going to squeeze that in? I get home at 7 and I go to sleep at 2 o'clock shipping packages. I got to get up for work at 7 again in the morning. I mean, am I going to sacrifice my sleep that I already do on an everyday to get up an hour earlier and go run?
Well, you're already sacrificing your health by being a workaholic.
Yeah, but we have a lifestyle to keep
It's
up
bills.
with.
Okay, so then it's more about lifestyle and materialistic things than it is about actual ultimate happiness with your health.
I mean, not really. I mean, do I want to downsize my life? It's not about me having luxuries. It's about me living good. I mean, everybody wants to live nice.
But do you really think you're living rich, or are you living richly?
I think I'm living to the means that make me happy
She's
right
trying to
now.
listen, she's typical of most people out there. She's trying to work as hard as she can, get multiple jobs to be able to pay her rent. And pay her rent, put food on her table, educate their children, and be able to do what they need to do.
David, I agree with you that she is working hard, but the problem is that her priorities are out of order.
Which
okay?
paying the bills,
Not necessarily paying the bills, it's paying a certain type of bill. It's about having a certain roof over your head, not just having a roof over your head. It's about certain material things, when actually the ultimate happiness is your health. That should be your first
I mean,
priority.
I get it. I get what you're saying, but I really don't understand how I need to downsize my life because I need to look good. Or you know, I mean, it's only really, for me, in my case, it's only 10 pounds. So, I mean, what is it that I need to do to lose 10 measly little pounds?
So that brings up
and then I
another
can
subject. Why did
squeeze
you
it?
pick up number 10? Why not the number 8 or why not the number 15?
Well, because like many people in America, many women do not want to be stick figures, and that's a big deal nowadays. And I'm very comfortable being a thick woman.
likes her
I'm a
curves.
Latina, and I like my curves. I mean, there are parts of my body that I want to shrink, like everybody else, but I personally don't want to be no stick figures. So I think 10 pounds is a good weight for me.
Well, actually, you're inaccurate in that statement because most magazines, if you notice, you don't see heavier set, curvy women in magazines. Okay,
But that's the beginning of it. That's
Correct.
a whole other show
Okay.
because that's the beginning
Correct.
of a problem.
Now she's talking about a cultural thing.
Yeah.
She is Cuban from Miami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a certain expectation or look to a Cuban curvy Miami woman.
But here's the thing, though: is it 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 25 pounds, and the perception of what we think you're going to look like when you lose the 10 pounds, or is it a certain? You know what you want to see when you see in the mirror, and you may get to 10 pounds and not look like what you think it is.
David, the
So-
actual number on a scale is irrelevant because it actually has to do with the composition of your body weight, not the actual number on a scale.
Exactly.
Okay? And your expectation of looking altruistic based upon a number is false.
So what's the solution?
Right, exactly.
What's the solution?
The solution is that there are no quick fixes. Everybody wants the championship, but nobody wants to practice for it. Eat right and exercise. Pre-plan your meals. Are you exercising at all right now, Gabby?
Well, I was exercising.
The answer on the table is yes or no. Are
at
you
the
exercising
moment
at
when
all?
I get an opportunity.
Okay, and how often is your opportunities?
Maybe once a week.
Okay, maybe once. Okay.
Maybe once a week.
How much time should somebody get in a week that's optimal for somebody who has no time, 2 jobs, barely has time to do anything? How much time should they both get?
The simple principle is if they're not willing to modify their life, they're not going to get the changes that you want.
I have a question.
Okay.
She wants to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 30. What different approaches should we be taking?
Well, once again, you guys are playing with numbers. But so let's say if you lose that 10 or you lose that 30 on a scale, will you ultimately be happy or is there more to that? I mean, is that the end of your life if you've achieved your goal of 10 or 30
No,
pounds?
I'd like to maintain the weight.
Because you like to maintain the weight loss.
Right.
Okay, so then you
Well,
need
that
to keep
desired
doing the
weight.
things that will require change. But if you're not willing to change, these results will never happen. You're not willing to move closer to your job. You're not willing to go to the grocery store. You're not willing to work less.
No,
so
I'm
what
willing
is
to go
going
to
to
the grocery
give?
store.
What is going to give for you to create change since you're not willing to change at
No,
all?
I am willing to change. I just want something that's comfortable for my lifestyle that I can work around and I can still at the same
There's
time be
gotta
Okay,
successful.
here's the dose of reality, okay? You want something that's comfortable, but what you want is that's comfortable is convenient. And looking a certain way and feeling a certain way is not convenient.
As a fitness
a lot of
professional, it
people
may
do
be
that.
easy for you to put those in the forefront.
But I've made that,
I'm not a
I've
fitness
cho-
professional, so therefore it's not my main
Because of what I
priority.
do doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be a certain way. Just because I happen to be a personal trainer, yes, it is one industry where you actually have to look like your profession. How does a doctor supposed to look? How does an engineer supposed to look? How does an attorney supposed to look? But a personal trainer is supposed to be an envision of health, correct? So just because of what I do doesn't necessarily mean that I have to abide by
but
that,
it
but
gives
I
you
have
the
to.
time
But this is-
to work out
but PC,
and eat healthy.
You have to create your time, but you're not willing to budge on your time.
That's not true. I might be able to if it feels like it's
So if I
something
said,
comfortable for
okay,
me.
to create time, move closer to your job, you would say, but I like where I live.
It's not even about where I liking where
So
I
you're not
live. It's
willing
just
to
like
give.
right now I have to pick up and leave.
But is there?
You need to create a plan to do that. You need to create a purpose, a vision, and a goal towards, okay, well, maybe if I move closer, I'll allocate 4 to 6 hours extra of my life to devote to exercise or going to the grocery store to pick up healthy food
Okay.
or pre-planning
But
my
I do
meals.
go to the grocery store and pick up what I think is healthy, and I just don't really feel that I need to move to another city to lose 10 pounds. I mean, it's 10 pounds.
There's got to be a
Well, you know
compromise.
what? You gained
Let
weight
me-
because you are living in a different city. How about that?
No, but here's
I mean,
the
what if
thing.
I'm gaining
There's
weight
gotta
because
be a
I'm stressed
compromise.
out?
Well, then maybe you need to once again check your priorities of your hierarchy of life. You've chosen monetary, material issues, okay, over your actual health and your happiness. So you need to really check your life priorities.
I mean, that's in your opinion.
Well, it seems like a basic fact because you're asking for help. I'm offering
Just
you the.
to lose the
I'm
weight.
offering you
You're
the
a
solution.
professional.
I'm offering you the solution, and you're not willing to
But you're
accept that solution.
Of course, I'm willing to accept the solution, but I want a
Okay.
reasonable solution, not a
Here's a
solution
reasonable
that's going to make
solution.
me move across town
Here's a
and spend
reasonable
more
solution.
money on a new
Stop
rent.
eating hamburger fast food joints and start eating salads from the grocery store. How about that a solution? Are you willing to
Okay,
do
but
that?
I don't have time to go to the grocery store, buy
I
the
just gave you the
ingredients and chop
solution, and you're
them
not
up.
willing to accept it.
What if I have a salad from a fast food
Okay,
place?
exercise twice a week since you're not exercising at all. Do that.
How many hours and how many minutes should I be working out?
There's no calculated risk. It's about the intensity. There's so many intangibles. No one can give you a short-term answer. Carmela, can you teach me everything about the law in one day, yes or no? Yes or no? Can you teach me your 3 years of law school in one day? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, can I teach you everything about health, wellness, and nutrition in one day? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, exactly. So it takes more than just this talk show with David to give you all the answers.
It
So when you're
sounds like what
firing
you're
back
saying is
questions
that
to
we need
me,
to we
okay, I
need to
can't fire back all
reprioritize.
the answers to you in
Well,
one
let me
answer.
ask. I gotta ask this because you're a fitness professional. You live, you breathe, you bleed fitness, and it shows. They're working mothers, and forget about the two professional women we have here. We have mothers at home who don't have that time. Okay, there's got to be a medium between where you are, where you work, you have the time, you've put a lot of time, you've come to where you are, and where they're so busy they barely have time for themselves. Forget about even anything else. They barely have time for themselves, obviously, because she's giving to her children, and she has 2 jobs. What is the medium where someone can take baby steps? It's about baby steps. You're there. It's for people who can't, taking baby steps to get there. Where do you start? And moving is a little difficult.
I'm going to give you some simple answers without interruption is what I ask, okay? If you're not doing any exercise, the first thing I would advocate is walking. If you're not doing anything, start with walking. Simple as that. If you're eating fast food, stop eating fast food, okay? If you go to the grocery store,
I exercise
I asked
nor
you
do
to not
I.
interrupt. If you're going to the grocery store 1 time a week, how about you cook only 1 time a week?
She walks the baby. She says she walks the
I
baby.
run, actually.
She runs,
I'm
and
a
she's
long-distance
breastfeeding.
runner,
Okay.
And I don't eat fast food, ever.
Okay. If you're at work, how about working out on your lunch break? How about that as an advantage? Since you know you can't work on your drive because you're in your car, but if you are allocated 30 minutes to an hour on your lunch break,
Walk to the
how about,
park.
How about walking in your park on your lunch break as opposed to, once again, shooting off to fast food for your lunch?
So you want us to walk
That's a solution. Yes, if you're not doing
in
anything,
high
start
steps.
walking.
heels
Baby
and
steps.
in,
You bring
Florida in the heat?
let's not be difficult.
During our
bring
lunch hours?
bring sneakers to work and put them in keep them in your car. How about that? Put sneakers on your lunch break and walk to the restaurant as opposed to driving to it and eating fast food.
This
What
is the
if
quick
we-
fix.
But
Here's
see,
some
I
quick
don't do
fixes.
that. I bring my lunch to work.
We
And
have
what
a
do you
gym
bring?
in our building.
I'll bring a sandwich, whatever I cooked. If I had time to cook, whatever it is, I bring it to lunch the next day or something, anything, maybe a frozen meal.
Gabby,
Okay.
I just think it's a little ridiculous to
the
walk on my
summary
lunch
is
break.
the summary is that you have a self-defeating cycle of life and you need to recheck your priorities and your lifestyle management.
Okay.
And it's about organization and structure.
Sounds great. Up next, how to read a nutritional label and know what to look for first. We'll show you how to better understand what foods are good for you and what to look for to lose weight and be healthy. Okay, so here we have everyday food products. Let's start with the most common question, regular or fat-free?
Okay, so when we talk about regular fat-free, the idea of the food manufacturers is to dupe or fool the consumer. So although something may be fat-free, we actually have other ingredients placed in the product, such as high fructose corn syrup, to still provide the same flavor, although they may claim it's to still be fat-free. The problem is that high fructose corn syrup is just equally a killer as actual fat.
How many meals should we eat per day?
Okay, once again, you're thinking about science and numbers, okay? Your body doesn't know meal numbers, your body doesn't know time of day. So you hear reports in science saying, don't eat anything past 9 p.m. Well, do you think your body has a clock inside of it that says, oh, it must be 9 p.m., no longer time to eat? No. So once again, it's talking about how many meals per day.
Because everybody's eating before 7 o'clock or 7:15.
And they're stopping, but we're seeing an inversion of that. We're doing what's called nocturnal nutrition. It's important if we're going to sleep for 6 to 8 hours to supply ourselves with good food before we go to bed. Essentially, when we're sleeping, we are starving ourselves,
That
which is
midnight
bad.
snack is a good thing.
Right, a midnight snack, but it has to be smart. So I'm a big fan of, I like to cook egg whites before I go to bed, or I have a protein shake before I go to bed. So that way I'm actually feeding myself during my sleep. Because it's not good to go long bouts to go in starvation mode. We don't want that.
Well,
Okay?
PC, I think you need to clarify on the midnight snack because some people will take that as a green light to have a bag of potato chips or have the whole tub of ice cream at midnight
once
before
again-
they go to bed.
well, once
So, because a lot of people are eating at 7 o'clock and not eating later. So now they're like, oh, yeah, we can have dinner or we can have the midnight snack and eat a whole tub of ice cream. So,
Well, what do we put the term snack synonymous to? Ice cream, cookies.
Right.
So we need to change the culture of the naming of it. Let's not call it midnight snack. Let's call it nutritional eating before, nocturnal nutrition. That's what we're trying to
Nocturnal
change the
nutrition.
culture
I like
of
that.
what we call foods. A lot of people get so busy before they have to jet out to work, when they wake up in the morning, they also starve themselves. They maybe have a cup of coffee and they're on their way. So if you essentially went 6 to 8 hours of sleep and then didn't have breakfast, your next meal isn't until lunch, imagine that you're actually going 12 to 14 hours without eating, and your body begins to listen to how you treat it. So then when you do have that first meal at lunch, your body's gonna say, wow, Carmela starved me for 12 hours, I'm gonna hold on to
Store it.
everything she gives me
then
because she
I
went into starvation mode on me for 12 hours.
Right.
So you do that repetitive cycle, and then we're in a self-defeating starvation mode cycle. So you should have some smart food right before you go to bed. You should have, I also, just like I'm having egg whites before I go to bed, I'm also having egg whites the first thing I do when I wake up.
This is fantastic. Thanks so much for coming, guys. Hello and welcome to the show. Today is an important show, one that just might save your relationship. Do you fight fair, or your fight's going to destroy your relationship? Find out what happens when couples let our cameras into their lives, and how to turn arguments from destructive to productive. And meet the doctor who accurately predicts if these couples will make it or not. And learn the things we all could do when relationships turn into battleships. Today on David. I'd like to welcome Allison and Blake to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Our cameras followed Blake and Allison to their home to observe every interaction and every argument. See what we can learn from the way they fight to keep the relationship from falling apart. Take a look at this.
We had the best marriage. I mean, he showed me places I've never even seen. We went on fantastic trips. He bought me jewelry. He bought me, I mean, he still does everything and anything I want.
Hey, baby. How was your day?
Hey,
I'm not even home 5 minutes, Allison. What's the problem now?
In the last couple of years, things started to get a little bit more difficult, and in the last year, we've just been fighting a lot.
this.
What?
I tried to use it today and it was declined. Lately, his business hasn't been doing well.
I bought you a necklace on this card.
What?
I'm trying very hard to make her happy. I see that she's not really happy inside, and I try to get her gifts. I try to do nice things for her.
I don't even want the necklace. And I thought you and I had spoken about this arrangement that we wanted a family. We decided to budget ourselves so that we can have a baby, I can stop working and take care of my child, our child. And for some reason, he is not stopping at all. I feel like he doesn't want a child. Like he's just doing this as another, let me give you something to make you feel better, but maybe he doesn't want one. You keep spending when you know we need that for a family.
What do we need?
Okay,
Is there anything that you don't have? Is there anything you're wanting?
I don't need
You're complaining because you
anything.
couldn't use
I
this
need a
card.
husband
What
that
about your
knows
other
how to
card?
save money so that we can have a family in the future.
She takes the issue with the money and she blows it up to the point where it affects everything in our relationship, our intimacy, just even the fact that I don't feel like she really likes being with me anymore.
Well, how are we going to have a family if we don't go in the bedroom once in a few months?
I think I'm falling out of love with my husband. I just feel like I don't want him around anymore.
Wow. Do you guys even want to stay together?
Well, she just said obviously not. She doesn't.
I mean, I'm humiliated and disgusted.
You should be. You act like a jerk on TV. You know what? It's really
How long have
disgusting.
you been together?
7 years.
And when did this level of arguing
I'd say
start?
the last year where he pretty
Yeah,
much has
why?
lost his mind and stopped caring.
Lost my mind.
Yeah.
You talk about the most ridiculous things. You talk about wanting a child.
Oh,
and we haven't
the
had
most
sex in 3
ridiculous
months.
things.
In 3
Wanting
months.
a child. And by the way, he's still spending money. He's buying crap and
Right,
putting it in the
spending
closet.
money. Yeah, that's going to stop us from having a child. How about not coming to the bedroom at night? How does that help us have a child?
You are such a jerk. I can't even believe you just
Well,
said
you just
that.
don't want to talk
you know
about
what?
the truth?
No, not in front
Why
of the
don't we
whole
just
world.
tell the
What's
truth?
wrong with you?
Because you're going to tell you're falling out of love
Oh,
with
and
me.
this is why I want to stay with this man.
Blake, do you want children?
Well, I'm a married guy. I said it 100
No,
times
he
already.
wants sex. He wants to spend money. He wants vacations.
Yeah, I do want sex.
Go get a stripper.
I'm sorry. I'm a guy. That's what we're supposed to do when we're married.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay. I think I know how we can hopefully get this resolved. Okay, I'd like to introduce Miami-based neuropsychologist and expert on marriage and relationships, and Counseling, Dr. Shauna Freshwater, to the show.
Hi, Blake, Allison.
Hi, Dr. Shauna. We need some help here.
Yes.
What do you
yes,
feel?
big
What do you see
time,
when
big
you see
time.
the tape?
Well, the issues are very simple. It just comes down to PMS. PMS, power, money, and sex.
Not the.
No.
I was going to say, don't even
Not
try to
with
blame
other
it on
women.
the
No,
women.
we're not going to blame. No.
I didn't say it.
So the issue is very simple: power, money, and sex. But it's the communication style. It's destructive. You're going to go nowhere but divorce court.
How am I supposed to even communicate with somebody that doesn't even want me next to them? How am I supposed to communicate?
Okay, the communication style is as much what you're saying as well as how you're saying it. She's not hearing you, from what I observed
wait a
in
minute.
here. She
I'm not hearing
withdraws
him?
in attacks. He's not hearing you. It's you
No,
guys
I
are
hear
both
her.
talking,
I just don't
but
agree
no
with
one's
anything she's saying.
listening.
Oh my God.
No, there's obviously a major
Yeah,
communication
it's a
breakdown going
communication.
on here.
And once
Are
the
you cheating on me?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, once the communication style becomes more productive or constructive, regardless of whatever the issues are, if it's a golf club or not a golf club or
I'm
a
cheating
credit
on her
card.
with golf clubs.
But you're not hearing what I'm saying, so I doubt very much when she's angry or withdrawn, she's hearing what you're saying and she's able to
They're
express
not
to
listening.
you.
No one's here.
I'm
No
sorry,
one's
this
being
is just
heard
really
here.
logical. She wants a family, she
Yeah.
wants kids,
Yeah.
but she won't sleep with me.
I-
So, I'm sorry, you're a
and-
doctor.
and I
Explain
cannot
to me,
even
how do we
believe
have
you
kids
just brought that
if we
up.
don't have sex? I'd
You
like to
are
find
so
out how you
and
do
you
it.
want this marriage to work, and you're going to air our dirty laundry out to all these
Oh,
wonderful
excuse me,
people.
you tell me you're falling out of love with your husband, you don't even want him around his own house, the house that I bought for us.
Ask me how I'm supposed to love something like this if he doesn't listen to a
Something.
word I
Well,
say.
here's what I have
And
to
I should
ask.
listen
though.
to
If
you?
you want children, you both want children, how's that going to happen with no intimacy?
It's not going to happen.
You
That's
have
what-
to want to sleep with somebody. He's
All right, you
acting
know what?
like he's 10 and I'm not into
Yeah.
young boys.
Yes.
So then you
and
answer
we're
the question.
we're hearing lots of issues that are not being resolved, and they're not being resolved because the communication style is gotten to the point where it's destructive, and no conflict is going to be resolved, whether it's the child or golf clubs or credit cards or vacations or whatever, until the communication style becomes
Thank you.
constructive, where
Thank you for
she
what?
feels that she's able
We're never
to,
going to be able to solve this problem.
No, we're not.
where she feels she's able to get her feelings and thoughts across, and you're able to communicate and feel heard by her.
Would you be open to having some therapy with Dr. Freshwater, and we can come on us, have family counseling on us with Dr. Freshwater, and we'll follow up with you in a couple of months and see how it's going.
I guess as a
Would
last
you?
effort,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you be open to that?
I mean, I think we need somebody to help us because
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
can't
it's
do it.
beyond us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that, and then we'll follow up with you in a
It's
few
worth a
months and see
try.
how it's going.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.